Picture this. It's a cold January evening in 1950 Boston. Snow crunches under the feet of 7 men dressed as security guards, walking calmly toward the supposedly impenetrable Brink's armored car depot. What happens next will become known as the crime of the century, a heist so perfect, so meticulously planned, that it would take the FBI 6 years and the largest investigation in their history to crack. But here's the twist that'll keep you watching. The robbers almost got away with it entirely. Almost. The Brink's building on Commercial Street wasn't just any target. This was Fort Knox with a Boston accent. 5 floors of reinforced concrete, multiple alarm systems, and enough security to make a paranoid millionaire jealous. The second floor housed a counting room where millions in cash, checks, and securities were processed daily. For over 2 years, a group of Boston criminals had been studying this building like it was their doctoral thesis. They knew every guard's routine, every alarm's timing, every lock's weakness. The mastermind? A career criminal named Tony Pino, who'd spent countless hours perched in nearby buildings with binoculars, mapping out their target with obsessive precision. January 17, 1950, 7:10 p.m. 7 men, wearing identical chauffeurs' caps and navy peacoats that made them look like legitimate Brink's employees, approached the building. But here's where it gets incredible. They didn't break in. They walked in. Through months of surveillance, they discovered that employees often left doors unlocked during shift changes. The robbers had even obtained keys to multiple locks throughout the building. When they reached the second floor counting room, they found 5 employees counting the day's receipts. "This is a stick-up. Nobody move," announced the lead robber, his face hidden behind a Captain Marvel mask. Yes, you heard that right, a comic book superhero mask. The employees, thinking it was an elaborate prank by co-workers, initially laughed. That laughter died quickly when they saw the revolvers. What happened next was like watching a Swiss watch in action. The robbers tied up the employees with rope they brought, then systematically looted the vault. They worked in complete silence except for essential communication, moving cash, checks, coins, and securities into bags with practiced efficiency. The take? $2.7 million, equivalent to over $30 million today. They grabbed $1.2 million in cash, $1.5 million in checks and securities, thousands in coins. But here's the detail that shows their planning. They left behind over $80,000 in coins because they were too heavy to carry efficiently. These weren't desperate amateurs. They were calculating professionals. Total time inside, 30 minutes. Alarms triggered, 0. Witnesses who could identify them, none. They vanished into the Boston night like ghosts. When employees were found the next morning, still tied up, the FBI launched what would become their largest investigation to date. Over 5,000 interviews, thousands of leads, hundreds of suspects questioned. The public was fascinated. Newspapers dubbed it the crime of the century. The robbers had pulled off what seemed impossible. The perfect heist against an impenetrable target. For months, then years, they remained invisible. The FBI was baffled. No fingerprints, no reliable witnesses, no trace of the money entering circulation. It was as if $2.7 million had simply evaporated. But perfection, as it turns out, has an expiration date. 6 years later, in 1956, the statute of limitations was about to expire. The robbers had almost made it. Almost. But greed and paranoia are the downfall of many criminals. And this case was no exception. One of the gang members, Joseph Spexakeef, had been arrested on an unrelated charge and was facing prison time. Desperate and feeling betrayed by his partners who he believed weren't sharing the money fairly, O'Keefe made a decision that would unravel everything. He started talking to the FBI. O'Keefe's confession was like pulling a thread that unraveled an entire tapestry. He revealed not just the identities of his fellow robbers, but the intricate details of their 2-year planning process. How they'd obtained detailed floor plans. How they'd acquired keys through connections with former employees. How they'd practiced a robbery multiple times in a rented warehouse. How they'd distributed and hidden the money. One by one, the FBI arrested the gang members. The perfect crime began to crumble as each arrest led to more evidence, more confessions, more details about the heist that had captivated America. the bitter end. By 1956, 8 of 11 gang members were arrested and convicted. 3 had died before they could be brought to trial. The sentences were harsh, life imprisonment for most. But here's the final twist that makes this case legendary. Most of the money was never recovered. Despite confessions, despite arrests, despite years of investigation, only a small fraction of the $2.7 million was ever found. Some gang members claimed to have been hidden and lost. Others suggested it was destroyed to avoid detection. The truth? That secret died with most of the robbers. The great Brink's job changed everything. Security protocols were revolutionized. The FBI expanded their capabilities. The case proved that even the most perfect crime could unravel through human weakness, greed, paranoia, and the inability to truly trust criminal partners. Today, the Brink's building still stands in Boston, now converted to other uses. But locals and crime enthusiasts still wonder. Somewhere in New England, is there still a hidden cache of 1950s money waiting to be discovered? The case remains a testament to both criminal ingenuity and the patient work of law enforcement. It reminds us in the world of crime, there's no such thing as a perfect heist. There are only crimes that haven't been solved yet. So the next time you pass an armored car or see a security guard, remember the great Brink's job. Remember how 7 men in Captain Marvel masks almost pulled off the crime of the century, and how one man's greed brought down what might have been the perfect heist. Because in the end, the most impenetrable vault isn't made of steel and concrete. It's made of silence. And silence, as the Brink's robbers learned, is the hardest thing of all to maintain. What do you think happened to the missing money? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible true crime mysteries that'll keep you guessing.